Hello, this is Mr. Kent of MrKent.com. And if you've been following my channel in the last week or so, I was able to obtain a pair of DJI goggles. Those goggles are by far much more, they give you a much sharper image than my cell phone did. And so there's no way around it. It's by far the best way to fly FPV with your Mavic 2 and just the different Mavic products. But anyway, to go on with a problem I'm running into is because you have such a sharp image, you want to make sure that you are able to control the focus of your camera. And so this right here is a video that I started making just so I could look at whether or not I'm getting the focus that I want, because you can't really, because it's just kind of hit and miss for me, making sure that I get a good focus on the videos that I put up. So here I am in the park this morning, and I'm going to try to figure out why every once in a while I lose focus, because I've got the automatic focus control turned on. And if you don't know, if you don't go into camera settings, you may not know what that is, but that's in the camera settings in the menu bar on the right hand side, and you turn that on, and then really normally when you stop or zoom in or zoom out and stop moving, the firmware automatically refocuses everything, and so it's all automatic. You don't have to do it yourself. But with the goggles on, I kept running into problems where it wouldn't focus. So there might be a glitch in the firmware or something, but now watch as I'm going to zoom in here, because I don't feel like I have a good focus. Now when I stop zooming in, if I've got automatic focus control turned on, it should, right at that point, it should focus. And so somewhere along the line, either I hit a button wrong, or and that touchpad on the side of the goggles is dangerous for me because you can't see where you're touching. And so here I am, I'm going in, this is on the phone, I'm going into the menu on the phone. You don't get this much, you get some of this on the goggles. There, I just turned, well actually I didn't do anything because I was recording. Now it's turned off, I'm not recording. And so then I turned enable AFC off and on again, and now it's focused. So by turning that off and on, it goes back to doing what it's supposed to do. So now I'm going to go fly a little bit and see if it's working. And every once in a while the screen will go like it just did. It'll go white because when I turn off the recording of turn off the drone, stop the recording, then we don't have the drone's video to look at. All right, so what I wanted to say was this. The first time I flew without the phone, and it worked and it was fine. But then I wanted to be able to get a screenshot and stuff like that of how high it was going and all that. And so I hooked my phone up to the controller, and the first thing that happened was my finger accidentally hit the phone, and it got me into the battery the battery control section of the battery monitoring page, and that's where it stuck for the rest of the flight. So then what I did, and I'll put some pictures up, what I did was to have a little sun shield for the phone. So then I put the sun shield around it to protect the phone from my fingers, and that's what I've been doing lately. One other thing, you'll notice that this, if you look at the screenshot from the phone here at the lower left, I'm recording in 1080p, and I had it set for 4K. So for somewhere along the line, either on the touchpad or my fingers accidentally hit something. Now there you can see that I stopped recording, and so I could focus manually, just playing around. But anyway, somewhere along the line I got out of 4K, and I found out now that I can go back into and get 4K even while I'm flying. Alright, so I just wanted to introduce it with that. But what I want to do is, we'll just let this video run. What I want to do is tell you the experiences I had when I got my goggles that maybe you may want to avoid. And so let's go back to the beginning when I I turned on my goggles and used the USB cord, plugged it into my computer, and then I opened up DJI Assistant, and it automatically recognized the goggles and when I clicked on the picture of it there, well, then it went to the screen where I could update to the latest firmware. And it doesn't take very long, and that's what I would recommend everybody to do, because the latest firmware is going to have all the glitches out, supposedly. So anyway, I did that. But then, in order to set the goggles up, you have to have your controller and your drone turned on, so that the settings can get put into the system. And I wear trifocals, and so then when I would put the goggles on, and then it would, I had to make an adjustment on the side of the goggles, and my fingers, you can't see the touchpad because you got the goggles on, and so my fingers would be hitting the wrong thing, and then because I had trifocals, well, I could only see part of the screen at the time, so I ended up accidentally tapping on, I guess it was the Chinese language, and so now then the menu the rest of the time was in Chinese, which I couldn't tell a thing. So I turned everything off and started all over again, and believe it or not, I got the language menu up, and I could carefully select English, and that was a blessing to my heart when that actually happened. But you have to look at the screen and then reach around and touch the touchpad, and that just didn't work for me. But finally, I got it. And another thing, you have to learn to slide your finger along that pad, up or down or left and right, and the manual will show you how to do that. In order to you click on confirm or cancel, and so that was something I had to learn, because you got to slide down and then slide over and find the right word that you want to tap on. And so then let me see, what else was I going to say? Oh, yes. When you look at the screen, when you first get your goggles and you look at the screen, it should be sharp and clear. Now with me, with my trifocals on, the bottom, the close-up vision part of my trifocals, I could see the screen, but I could only see part of it because the window for the close-up is pretty narrow. So I ended up having to get some reading glasses, and I went to Walmart, and they have reading glasses from $5.88 up to $29. And of course I chose the $5.88 pair, and got them home and found out that they were flawed. One lens was good and sharp, the other lens was a different power. So anyway, I had to take those back and exchange them, but they were nice and they did that. But there's different powers. I think mine is probably about 3 or 3.5 for close-up, and it goes, well, actually, for normal people, it goes from 2 to 2.5 to 3 to 3.5 to 4, and even higher for people that are really hard to see close up. Anyway, so if you go to get reading glasses, hold your hand about 6 to 8 inches away from your face, and you should be able to see all the little cracks and crannies of your hand with the right pair of reading glasses. So, and also you can go to DJI, and they, for $29, they make the same thing. If you don't want to wear glasses, they make the same things that clip onto the lenses inside the goggles. So that way, of course, they're only set up for you, but that way you don't have to wear the glasses. Although the glasses work fine, both my pairs of glasses, the ones I normally wear, and the reading glasses, they worked fine. So there was no problem running into the lenses with my lenses and stuff like I used to have with the goggles I used, like from the Bebop. All right, now another thing. Once you get everything set up, you don't have to use the touchpad on the side. The C1 and C2 switches, which are on the bottom of the controller, it's set up that you can use those, and then also the 5-in-1 switch on the top, you would use those, and that switch. To go into settings, you would click C1, and to go out of a setting, you click C2. But when you get into a setting, well, then you use the 5-in-1 button to push up or push down or push left or push right, and then you select by pushing down on it. And that, for me, is a lot easier than trying to reach around and find the touchpad. And then, of course, to fly, what I'm doing here in in this video, as you can see near the end, or as we go along, I'm trying to use head tracking, and I'm getting a little better at it. I'm still pretty shaky, but head tracking works really, really well, and it's a lot of fun to use. Also, they have head tracking that turns the gimbal, and they have head tracking that turns the whole drone. So you can choose between those. Now, to get out of head tracking, it took me a while to learn what you got to do. When you go into that menu, which I don't have a picture of it, and you find head tracking for the gimbal, for instance, and you click on it, well then when you click on it, you automatically go back out to the main view, and when you move your head, the gimbal moves. But when you go back into it, and by the way, you go into the menu by sliding 2 fingers down on the touchpad. That's the only way to get into it. So you get in there, and then you see that the head tracking that you're using is blue, and so then what you do is you slide with the 5-in-1 button, which I use now all the time. Slide the 5-in-1 button either to the left or to the right to get away from there, and then of course the one next to it turns white and it's highlighted, and then you slide back over to the head tracking button that you're using and click again, and it will turn it off, and then you click the C2 button to get out of the menu. But anyway, I had trouble even on this video trying to get out of head tracking. But the secret is to slide with that 5-in-1 buttons, slide off to the side, or use the touchpad, and then go back onto it, and then that reselects it, I guess. So anyway, now another thing too, and we're going to get to the end of this video. Let's see here. All right, well, right along in here in this part of the video, as you notice, my power was down to 22%, and you get the I had it set up to give me a warning at 25, and so it started beeping and giving me the red indicator. And then when you're flying with FPV goggles like I did, the notices come up really fast and they go away really fast. And that's what happened here. As you will see pretty soon, I'm going to move here, and then I will get because it's at 20% now, and so I'm getting a warning. Now it says the aircraft is going to return home, and I had no idea how to cancel return to home. It said right there, but it was at the bottom of the notification, and I missed it. The C2, I think C1 button, and or to stop return to home, you hit the C1 button, and it's the same thing as hitting the red X over there on the side. But I had missed that. So anyway, those are some things that I learned in the process of getting used to these goggles, and I'm still not totally used to them, but I'm learning more and more every day. And so I thought, well, I'll just share what I've learned, and hopefully it's helpful. You know, someday if you get goggles, or if you have goggles now, and there might be some things that you didn't know. So I want to thank you for watching, and God bless.